Hi, I'm Daryl. I'm a software developer.
You are what?
I'm Daryl.
Daryl.
Yeah, Daryl.
Daryl.
I'm a software developer.
Welcome.
My name is Moses. I'm a UI UX designer in Nigeria.
My name is Austin Chineglansiwa. I'm from Imo State, Nigeria. It's my 5th year in UAE. I'm a chef by profession.
Nice. Good. Well, I know you love
Where food is.
Chief is a chef as well.
I cook pasta.
My name is Patrick Daniel. I'm a real estate agent here in Dubai. I'm from Nigeria.
Okay, beautiful.
My name is Timothy Alasake. I'll say an entrepreneur here in Dubai from Africa, but my DNA is Nigerian.
Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Constance. I'm a speech therapist. Oh, I remember you from the last networking. So yeah, so I'm a speech therapist. I'm new to Dubai. I've been here about 7 months. And right now I work with schools. I'm with children with autism and language disability.
What does it mean to be a speech therapist?
So when I was in the US, I was actually doing the medical part of my field. I was dealing with neurological disorders, dealing with patients who had dementia, strokes, traumatic brain injuries, people who can't swallow, communicate. It's so broad, and also voice therapy. So even accent training. If I did accent training for anyone who wants to like sound more articulate and be presentable and be more presentable in front of others, that's what I did on the medical aspect. Now I'm in children, I'm working in schools, and now I'm dealing with ones that have like congenital diseases, dealing with those who have a hard time reading, have a hard time communicating, either verbally, writing, things like that. So it's very easy.
Nice meeting you. Yes. Let's clap for them, please. Your turn.
My name is Yasin. I'm from California, and I live in Dubai since 6 years. Then I'm working. I start like in a restaurant. I'm here like a week, so wait out for Then I do everything sell, buy, I do everything between Africa and Dubai. I help also Dubai.
Yes. Your turn. You're looking back.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nicola Onyeriso. I'm a business development manager. I represent RAF Foundation.
You're welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Hi everyone, my name is Juliet Okoni. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a beautician.
Fantastic. Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Adil. I'm from Kazakhstan, and I'm ex-barista. I'm in Dubai like 4 years.
Okay. You're welcome.
Hello, I am Aline. I'm from Philippines. I worked before as an admin in receptionist.
You're welcome.
My name is Hafiz. I'm a tech startup specialized in fintech and ERP. I'm based here in Dubai. My startup focuses on Nigeria and Canada. Markup integrated.
Markup integrated. Nice. I'm jumping you're really happy. Yes.
My name is Anthony. I'm from Sri Lanka, and the digital marketing.
You're welcome. Can somebody check the laptop and show something interrupted? Yes.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sunil. My DNA is Nigerian. That's why I'm here. It permits me to authenticate that I greet in Yoruba people, please.
Wow.
Lovely, sir.
Actually,
For any Igbo people here.
Kedu.
All the
Yeah, okay.
Alright, so I'm in Dubai, between Dubai and London. I had the pleasure of growing up in Nigeria, and I spent more than 25 years in Lagos and Abuja.
Wow.
And I now live in Dubai with my family and periodically travel to London.
Okay.
I'm a fund manager. I trade the financial markets and I service the high net worth segment.
Okay.
And we're also very strong on education and training. And it's lovely to be here. It's just to hear some Nigerian voices. I feel at home again. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Good to have you, and you're welcome, everyone, and thank you all for coming. Dubai is busy, and Dubai has so many options for you guys. So when you come for meetings like this, obviously there's a lot of love you have for Chief, myself. I want to thank you for that. So once again, clap for yourself for coming. So today's a networking event. We're just gonna, have. Yes, we're gonna have. Okay.
Yeah, he's talking about this.
This is reserved for.
Chief. Chief has promoted you to Kabiyesi.
For Kabiyesi.
Yeah. Interested. You added color to today's meeting. Thank you. So the goal in the next 30 minutes, just get to ask Chief Aare, we call him now, questions about life and success. And after that, we'll take pictures with coffee for you guys and some snacks and just to network and get to know each other. There's a powerful quote I've always shared that I learned years ago. And it says that poor people go to work, rich people build network. When you see a lot of wealthy people, that's why sometimes you wonder, they say this guy is rich, but all I see him is play golf or go for dinner. Like, how did he really make it? But what we often fail to realize is in those meetings that they close the biggest deals. Right? One of the richest black man is Dangote. It's only during the election that he stopped. Every Saturday, sometimes I wonder, he's probably in 3 weddings or burials from Fridays, Saturdays, of course, wealthy ones. But what happens is that these are probably clients, potential clients, government officials that he needs to do business with. So in meetings like this, particularly with someone like Aare, there's a lot that can happen. There's a lot of, doors we can also help you open if you really want to connect with him. And that's why I felt we needed to do this. And hopefully we all get value. Okay? So the way we'll do the Q&A will be such that I ask him one question, then I pick one from you guys. And then I ask him one, then I pick, and then we'll do like that. Does that make sense? Okay. So once again, Aare, thank you for honoring invitation to Dubai. And thank you for visiting GTEC's homes Dubai. I'm not sure I've taken you around the office, but hopefully we'll be able to do that before you go. My first question will be, how did you get so famous? Have you always had the intention of being this famous? Or how did it happen?
Okay, let me start by thanking Dr. Stephen Akintayo for inviting me. This is not the first time you will invite me to one of your events. Last year, you invited me to London.
Yes.
And then you also invited me to one in Lagos. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For the faith that you seem to have in me. I don't know why, but I think I'm just a reporter. I set out to be a teacher, probably marry a teacher and live happily thereafter. But in our culture, my culture is more Yoruba. We believe in the concept of Ori or destiny. We believe that God always had plans, but because we are blind, so we are not able to see the future. So that's why we have to try this and try that, and then hopefully something there happens. As I said, I wanted to be a teacher, had my first degree in Yoruba studies at the University of Ife in Nigeria. I had my second degree in literature in English, a master's degree in literature in English. I believe I was the first and probably the only Nigerian ever to have a fourth degree in Yoruba and a master's in English literature. Even my mother, who didn't go to school, wondered why a man would go to university to study the language he speaks. She had to ask me one day in our language, calling my full name and asking, "Are you such a dullard that you?" And I said, "No, Yoruba language is like English, it's like German, it's like Spanish, it's like any other language. And if we don't study our own languages, then they will go into extinction." So to cut a long story short, that was my background. And so what do you do with that kind of background? You think you become a lecturer or a teacher. Now I look for jobs. I couldn't get one. So when people ask me, how did you come into journalism? My simple answer is that I came into it out of joblessness because I had to do something. My mother was very poor. My father died when I was 13 years old. And it will be 50 years this June 14th. Then my mother didn't go to school, could not speak one word of English. This English I'm speaking, I had to teach myself how to speak. And so I started writing. A friend of mine suggested that, oh, with your background, you should be able to write. So I'll write for a newspaper in Lagos called The Guardian newspaper. And they were paying me 25 naira. You have been in Nigeria, you know the value of 25 naira. It wasn't anything much. Then I'll wait for them to publish 4. And I'll travel from Ife to Lagos to collect 100 naira. Wow. So this was how I started. And then, of course, on one occasion, I co-authored an article that became very big. It went viral. At that time, we didn't have social media like now, but it was everywhere. And so I needed a job. I traveled to the Guardian newspaper. I wanted a job and I couldn't get a job. So you can imagine my level of disappointment. Then my friend suggested that I should go to the Concord newspaper, which was owned by Chief Moshood Abiola. I'm sure a few people might know of him here. He contested the election in 1993, won the election, but he was never allowed to take power. He actually died in prison. So the story behind that is I was reluctant to go to Concord because I'd read a lot of bad stories about him. Oh, he's an Islamic fundamentalist, he's this, he's that. But I learned a lesson from it. Never judge a book by the cover. Never listen to what people say about others until you personally experience what they are talking about. Had I rejected the move to work at Concord, maybe I would not be sitting here today because my destiny led me to Concord and that changed my life forever. So when you ask me, how did you become this famous? I'm not sure how famous I am, but I know maybe a few people would recognize me as a writer and as a reporter. When I got to Concord, I was working for what we call a serious magazine, the African Concord magazine. But a few months down the line, my boss, Dr. Doyin Abiola, decided to start a weekend newspaper. And weekend papers are never serious. They are about who is married, who is having birthdays. And I said, with a master's degree, I'm too serious to be writing gossips, you know? But known to me, I will be one of those who will change the face of gossips in Africa. Wow. So I moved in there, and every Saturday, here I was. I had access to the movers and shakers of Nigeria, and that was how I became very popular. And then my boss, my chairman, Chief Abiola, whose name I mentioned earlier on, taught me that you should never make yourself a local champion. One of the things we're doing here is to be global. Yeah. So I started working with him, I started traveling, and it will interest you to know that 21 years ago, I was invited by the British trade partners to Dubai. Dubai was very scanty. We didn't have a lot of the skyscrapers that you see today. Everywhere was desert-like. I remember staying at the Emirate Towers at the time, and we did a fantastic story. We changed see Paris and die to see Dubai and die, you know, and that was how tourists started coming to Dubai. So the power and the influence of a celebrity reporter is limitless. If you do your job well, then people are going to call you from every part. Now, I've done over 60 countries on 5 continents and still counting. My dream, if possible, is to cover the entire world, starting with Africa. So I'm doing a lot of travels. I'm also a part-time politician. So if you ask about how I became popular, I've tried twice to be president of Nigeria. I've failed twice, but I take consolation from Abraham Lincoln and also from my boss, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who never gave up on his dreams. The lesson of life is that you must never give up on your dreams. And if your destiny, that word destiny, if your destiny says you are going to get there, you will get there. Now, I've almost lost hope and faith in the electoral process in my country. I have to be very open about it. I don't know if my destiny will perform the magic and the miracle of becoming president one day, but on my own, left to me alone, I think I'm no longer interested because what it takes is like we have become a mafia nation where everything is under garrison commanders, like a military power. But who knows? Nobody knows tomorrow. So I'm very happy to meet you all, and I'll be very, very happy to take your questions and to answer to the best of my knowledge. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Before I start taking a question, I thought you were streaming on his phone.
Yes, it's there.
That's fine. So here's your question.
I'm very, very, very happy that I'm seeing you today because, you know, your name keep popping up in history, right? From when I was in French, like growing up,
Thank you.
And standing before you today for me is like a dream come true.
Oh,
one.
Thank you.
Then my question is this. My question is based on Nigerian politics, which I know you are well grounded. Because right from the Ahimke Abiola shoes and everything, your name keep, you know, like, so sir, and I know in 2011 you contested under NCP.
Yes, National Conscience Party.
Yes, so, and sir, my advice is this, for the future of Nigeria, what advice do you have for the youth who are interested to probably that are now conscious of what is going on and are interested to say, okay, you know what, we also want to go into this and see how we can bring change. Maybe because of our exposure and because of now we are now seeing everything right in our face and we want to kind of bring in a fresh air into the system. So what would be your advice?
Thank you. Good, very good question. My advice is very simple for any young man or woman who wants to do anything, not just politics. You must have a sense of history. What is working against the young people in Nigeria today is that we all wake up and say we want to change our country without knowing our history.
Thank you.
We have our daddy here who just told you how many years he spent in Nigeria. And he didn't just say, okay, I speak English. I'm not interested in the local languages. He speaks a smattering of Hausa, a smattering of Igbo language, a smattering of Yoruba. You cannot say you want to be president of a country if you are not able to integrate yourself first into that country. If you do not believe in the oneness of the country, then you have no business saying you want to be president of that country. Then you might as well be the president of your village. So that's number one. Number two is that you must understand the concept of democracy globally. Democracy is a game of choice. Nigeria, as you would have witnessed in the last couple of months, if you belong to party A, then my friend of so many years becomes my enemy because I'm in party B. That is not democracy. Democracy allows freedom of choice and association. So that's number two. Number three is that the concept of democracy, in most countries, there are exceptions once in a while, you will have two mainstream political parties. I hope you are getting me.
Yes.
So you may have occasional third forces, like it happened recently with Peter Obi in Nigeria. But the easiest way of becoming president is if you belong to either party A or party B. You will say, okay, what of Emmanuel Macron in France? That is an exception to the rule. You might say, what of Peter Obi? You see, if, for example, opposition was able to work together, when MK Abiola won in 1993, that job was made easier because there were only two parties. So wherever you have a proliferation of political parties, where now you have maybe 16 or 18 candidates, so what then happens is that Peter Obi will start from his base, will take Southeast, and Bola Tinubu will start from his base, will take Southwest, Atiku Abubakar will start from his base, will pick Northeast, and then Rabi Kwankwaso will pick Kano. So what then happens is that you have divided the votes, and then you then get to a dead end where there is no clear winner, and everybody is laying claim to, I won, I won, I won. So that is why my recommendation at the beginning was the opposition must work together. If you are going to lodge a ruling party in government, it is very difficult in Africa because people don't play by the books, they don't play by the rules. So our young people should know also that democracy is different from revolution. Revolution usually is a game of force, while democracy is a game of number. So these are some of the things that I find very difficult to explain to our young ones. They will say, no, you people, we should do why didn't you leave PDP to join Labour Party? It's not as simple as that. It is based on my own personal theory. When I contested first time, I was in Labour Party. I wanted a Labour Party that would be like the British Labour Party. I linked up with the British Labour Party, and they were ready to introduce us to the international socialist movement. These are things that there is a process to democracy. It's not just in one-way traffic. You just wake up and you say, I'm driving to Lagos. No. So, but unknown to me, Labour itself was not ready. So I bought my form in Labour. I bought my form, maybe I was ahead of my time. And then only to wake up one day and Labour says we're not interested in fielding the presidential candidate. I already bought my form. So I then left Labour and went to what I considered a similar ideological political party, which was National Conscience Party, which was founded by Gani Fawehinmi and others. So I went into that party only to see that we did not have enough firepower to take power. So it's a waste of time. When you have all those fringe political parties, it becomes more difficult. Peter Obi was luckier because Nigerian youths were dying for a younger candidate.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he was able to fit into that space. He was also luckier. He's not a poor man. Politics is not a game for poor people.
Exactly.
Forget what some people will tell you, we don't pay shishi, we don't take shishi. You need money for logistics, even in America. Wherever you are, democracy is not a cheap game. You need a lot of money. So, and if you don't have your own money as foundation, nobody is going to help you. People want to see how far you are likely to go before they start making donations. So what the young ones need to do urgently in Nigeria is that, one, they must adopt a political party that they want. They cannot be in different political parties. You have very brilliant guys in the race. You have Kola Abiola, the son of MKO. You have Omoyele Sowore. These are all bright guys, but they cannot do it in all those small political parties. So there must be a way to bring everybody together. then you can now face the major political parties. Maybe that will help us. The second thing that we must also do urgently is what they do in America. We all see it, but we don't want to do it. Donations. When you donate to a political party, then you become a stakeholder. Then you can ask questions. Then you can influence decisions. But unfortunately, we haven't seen much of this. But I believe with the interest, that's if a lot of people are not already discouraged with what happened in the last couple of weeks. I believe that if we work on those items, Nigeria will be better for it. Thank you.
Next question.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So my question is on the recent.
By the way, your name?
Okay, my name is
What you do?
I work here with Zara. Sorry, I came late because of my skill.
No problem.
Actually, my question is about the recent take-up to the presidential election. But we saw a lot of how faulty it was, how it was really rigged. And considering the fact that we once, or the media once caught the current Chief Justice of the Federation on tape saying he's happy that he's in the group of the G5. And with the fact that now the G5 has still not appealed with Atiku Abubakar, is there hope that things can be upturned in tribunal? And secondly, also, Obi is also claiming that he won the election. Atiku is also saying he won the election. So, who do we think this will favor if the judiciary will do the right thing? Being the director,
strategic communication.
Atiku Abubakar felt he should be the right person to answer this question.
Thank you.
Bias.
And when you are in a public space, you have to suppress your bias as much as possible. Every human being is biased in life. But as a writer, as a journalist, I try to be as frank as possible. Unfortunately, I've always been in opposition. So you cannot say I'm trying to defend government policies and things like that. On the issue of the Chief Justice of our Federation, I don't know. I've read all kinds of things. People are scared, people are worried, people are doubting if they can actually deliver proper justice. I don't know. The truth of the matter is that I'm not clairvoyant, so I can't see the future. So I don't know. I hope some of them are watching or their children are listening, so they will know that Nigerians are very apprehensive about what the country might become. You see, because if the executive is irresponsible, if the electoral body is reckless, if the legislature is not dependable, and then the justices in the courts also become hopeless, then the people become helpless, and then desperation sets in. That's the invitation to anarchy. You see, the last bastion of justice is the court. So if the court cannot rescue us, then we are in big trouble. So that is that. On the issue of who won the election, who did not win the election, I can speak for my principal, Atiku Abubakar, that he has not claimed anywhere. He's a very, very experienced politician, very mature. He knows that at this stage, only the court can determine who won. And for you to get that judgment, you need to go and prove your case in court. And it's good that former Governor Peter Obi has also gone to court. And when I read his claims yesterday, he is not dwelling too much on whether he won or he did not win. The best strategy they have adopted is number one, to prove that there was no election. You see, because if you don't obey the rules, it's like going into a game of football and the referee allows foul to take place. Every minute you have red card. And then at the end of the day, you now declare the person who offended the most, who did not score any goal, and say is the winner. It's the same thing that happened in Nigeria. Today, we did not obey simple rules of the election. We have an electoral act that says once you vote, the votes will be counted in the presence of everybody. The votes will be recorded in the presence of the agents, and the votes will be transmitted. Transmission is a key word in our electoral process, and all this did not take place. And 48 hours after election, nothing has been uploaded. And then suddenly, you gather some professors inside the room, and you say this man has just come from Rivers, and you are wondering, so where did you get your own results from? And when you, don't forget that we had agents in all the polling units. So those agents already had copies of how people voted at their unit. So by the time these people were collating the result, the votes coming, you see where my party scored 30, it suddenly becomes 10, and the party that scored 5 suddenly becomes 50. So these are the issues that the courts will deal with, but we're not even going to waste time because we've done that in the past and it didn't lead anywhere. So the first thing to challenge now is number one, is the declared president-elect, is he qualified to contest? So the court will determine that. Number two, did we obey the rules of the Electoral Act? Those are simple things to determine by any court. They are not technical, they are not difficult. So when that happens, then there is a major provision in the Electoral Act that says for you to be elected president, you must win 25% in at least 24 states of the federation, including the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. You understand? Peter Obi won that, and the others did not win it. So that invalidates the election automatically. It means you must do another election because nobody except Peter had 20. So if you now say Tinubu had more states than Peter Obi, no problem. But how come he did not have the Federal Capital Territory? It is clearly stipulated in the electoral, in the Constitution of Nigeria. If you don't have it, you cannot be president. So these are some of the issues. I'm not a judge, but I'm just giving you examples of what is likely to happen. So what Atiku Abubakar has done is very smart, is that, look, we're not here to contest who scored more votes or not. We are here to say that the election was faulty from foundation. You cannot build Burj Khalifa without proper piling. There's what you call piling. You have to go deep, 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 deep down for you to have the tallest building in the world. So if you do a foundation of a 2-story building for a 200-story building, you know it's going to collapse. So that's why we believe that this election will collapse, because the foundation is absolutely faulty.
Okay, beautiful. No, I just political questions.
Because for me, and I'm big on that. As much as I love that the youths for the first time are patriotic, they are very excited about politics. I've always said that even if your desired candidate wins, right, there will still be poor people in Nigeria and from Nigeria. There are poor people in Dubai. There are poor people in the UK, in the US. So poverty will be there. You and I have to begin to learn from those who are successful. How do they move from zero to hero? And that's for me one of the reasons why I brought him and we're having this conversation. If a man, had a mother who wasn't educated, his dad died when he was 11, 13, and didn't even have the best course to study in the university, because in these days, You know, you either be a lawyer or
A
a
doctor,
doctor, you know,
an architect,
engineer. It's clear. Studied Yoruba, and yet has met more presidents, you know, than most Africans, many Africans. In fact, many presidents in Africa has not met the number of global leaders he has met, and became successful, built a global magazine that covers stories of wealthy people. So there's a lot to learn, because you can't give what you don't have. It's time for young people to begin to think about success, think about how to build it, ask questions from those who've done it, and begin to see themselves being able to do it as well. And so good to ask political questions, but I want to see, you know, business and success questions as well. So yes.
So I'm glad that you brought it up about the switch. So I'm gonna try my best to explain this properly. I come from a career that's very underserved. If I say I'm a doctor, if I say I'm a nurse, you know exactly what I am. But I'm a speech language pathologist. And so when it comes to, first of all, I have Nigerian roots, by the way, so. But when it comes to going back to Nigeria and figuring how to utilize what I do as a career and helping that type of population that's dealing with social inclusion, that's dealing with the education sector, that's also dealing with how I can be a part and implementing my field, medical or from the educational component. For example, here in the UAE, they have something called people determination. So they give people who are on the autism spectrum, who have cerebral palsy, who have congenital disease, and things of that sort, they give them a chance to thrive in this wherever setting they are. But when I think about how they still sweep under those people that still can be a vital aspect to the society, I guess I need more, guidance in regards to how I can properly, not just here in the Middle East, but branching out to my roots, going back to my home country and making a difference there. I know I can't do it by myself, but I just see so much potential, especially when it comes to people who have autism. You see so many people, educators, doctors who are on that spectrum. The spectrum is very broad. But then you also have the low level people who they've hidden, they've kept them locked up, they've shut their voice. And it burdens me because I know from my field and just know the potential that they have. Like, how can I go about it? And I even started a company now. I'm still working on it, but it's just something that it burdens me because I faced it for myself. My mom has swept under like my brother's diagnosis, but I've known this and I've seen it in other people that I converse with. And I really want to do something.
Okay, good. Yeah, good question because of time. Let's have.
Okay, I think I always tell a lot of people who walk up to me and say, "Jobless in Nigeria, nothing doing." I say, there is no one who is jobless. There is no one who has nothing to do. It's just for you to, number one, identify what you love doing. So your passion is medical in nature. You spoke about mental health issue earlier on today. I can tell you, because of the difficulties a lot of people face in Nigeria, you see people jumping into the lagoon and committing suicide. That's a mental health issue. Trust me, you do not need millions. And I use myself as an example. You do not need millions of dollars to set up a business. In fact, most businesses that had millions of dollars to start with, they end up failing.
Yeah.
Because you will never know how to micromanage. When we were starting Ovation in England, I was in exile. It was at the lowest ebb of my life. I ran away from Nigeria, running away from a dreaded military regime, found my way to London, and getting to London, I had nothing doing. Until my cousin one afternoon asked me, "What will you be doing in London?" I said, "I had no idea." I said, "You are going to wash plates." If you do not think, so what I'm trying to say is that you must identify something. There is always something that people need and is not yet available. So if you make it available to them, so that's what led to Ovation. So here we were in England. My cousin tells me, you were a journalist back home, so why don't you set up something? And you know, we're largely very self-defeating in Africa. Even before you start a project, you're already saying it will fail.
Yeah.
So, and here I was. How would I raise the money? The first thing that comes to mind is always funding in any business. And my cousin said, why don't we go and do our business plan? So we did our business plan. We needed £150,000 to start the business small scale. But here I was, if you sold my family from first generation to the last generation, we cannot come up with 150,000. So my uncle gave us the initial money, £10,000, then here and there, we were able to gather about £20,000. So the next question is, what do you do with 20,000 out of 150? That's enough to scare the daylight out of you. See, but we had something, we had audacity. Nigerians are very audacious people, were never afraid. My bank manager at the National Westminster Bank at the time told me it was impossible to do it. But I remember what my illiterate mother used to tell me, that a man who is down, there's no fall. When you are down, like you can't go lower unless there's an earthquake or something. So there was already an earthquake in my life, and I was ready to survive. So with the £20,000, I told my partner one day, I said, let's go and hire the best office in London. And he looked at me, are you crazy? How can you have £20,000 and we're going to spend 14 out of it on just getting an office, not yet furnished? And you are going to print the magazine, you have to pay your printers. And you know, just the day before we started the business, he pulled out. He said, Dele, you're out of your mind. You have been too flamboyant. But the thing is that we were going into a business of lifestyle. What we're going to sell is vanity. So you yourself have to be vain. Yes. So you must know what goes with your business. If you don't understand what goes into your business, you want to meet a rich man and you want to go in tatters. Nobody is going to open the door for you. I have a theory that the rich people don't do business with poor people. If when he called me, he told me come to Dubai, and I said, where is the ticket? And he says, I can't get it. I would think, what is this man saying? So what I wanted us to buy was our image. So what I'm telling you is that you don't start a business having every funding required in place. It is rare to find such a business unless you come from a rich family.
Yeah.
And they're ready to, and if you do that, trust me, you are going to lose all the money.
Yeah.
And you'll be back to square one in no time. So Ovation has taught me that do what you want to do, make sure you are the best in what you do. If you come to Nigeria today, now you have that dual experience and exposure.
Yeah.
You have been here, you know how it is done. Trust me, you start small, you grow slowly but steadily, you will arrive at your destination. But if you are waiting until you are going to gather enough funding, you will never do it. It could be just from a small office, it could be from a friend's home, it could be anything. And fortunately these days, your generation is even better. People are watching us from all over the world.
Technology makes it.
People now, when they started open university in Nigeria, nobody wanted to attend.
Yeah.
They are what is open university. Oh, people are going to look down on me. They will say I didn't go to school. Now you don't have to go to school physically. You can do everything from home. So it's just for you to design what you want to do, put your passion 100% into it, and don't let anybody discourage you. This is the best time if you want to do anything in Nigeria. You may start by coming periodically.
Yeah.
You don't have to move immediately. But a lot of people tell me, I will never come to Nigeria. Let me tell you, Nigeria is a land overflowing with milk and honey. It's for you to find it. Thank you.
Okay, you'll be the last one. After that.
Let's take that.
Okay, so
If
one,
they've made effort to come,
2, 3,
and
4. That's it.
Kabiyesi,
Kabiyesi.
Kabiyesi.
I'll end by just making a few comments because I've been given this platform, but please, if you
Yeah.
permit me. to-
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Thank
So
you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Once again, my name is Austin Isimachi. I'm from Imo State, closer to River State. I'm very glad to see you face to face today. I've been watching you on televisions. I've been following you, and Doctor also. Very glad to be in your presence today, Doctor. I don't sleep without watching you. So I'm happy to be here. So my question, sir. Before I left Nigeria, I was, hustling with Multi-Choice Nigeria. I do installations of CCTV cameras, telecoms, and all that. So at the point I said I was not going to work for anybody again, that it's high time for me to partner with civil engineering companies to see how I can get in part of the jobs and do it. And I started doing that already. I get some hotels, different parts of Lagos, and I do the installations. So I wanted to establish my own company. I evaluated what I needed to do that. At that time, I couldn't get the required money. I approached the bank for loan, but I was turned down because I don't know what to present to them and nothing. So now my first question is, I ran out of Nigeria because I came here to see how I can gather money to go back and open up my company and hit the ground running. So a lot of people are on this Japa syndrome, just like me. So I would like you to comment on the rate of Japa syndrome in Nigeria, and if the example that I'm giving now is among those, or one of the examples for those who are running out of Nigeria. What would you say to this kind of people to keep them encouraged?
Right.
Yeah. What would you say to situations like this? That's what.
No, but your question isn't clear. So are you saying that your goal of trying to raise money to go back to Nigeria wasn't realized? And how could you do it better? Because sometimes I ask questions.
Okay. Now my question is, for somebody to run out of Nigeria coming to this place, what can you say if that person do not even have money to go abroad? What can you advise the person to do if the person will sit back in Nigeria to be able to get that funding?
Okay. So how do you get funding?
Yes.
If you are trying to start a business?
Yes, in Nigeria.
Okay.
Then number 2, sir, you have, at least with your age and achievements so far, how have you tried to impact the youths in Nigeria? In what ways, or any platform? Is there any platform you have used to impact in the life of Nigeria? Those who have no father, who have no mother, but have wisdom, have vision, they are very creative and innovative. If you have discovered any, in any means, how have you tried, or what have you done to be able to bring these people up to actualize their dreams? Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. Maybe let me start from, you need funding. You said you wanted to go to a bank. I think you were lucky that you didn't go to a bank.
I went.
You went.
Yeah.
If they gave you, you'll probably be bankrupt by now. With the way the value of the naira has been nosediving. So then the interest rate will kill any business in Nigeria. We're hoping that in the near future, we will have a business-friendly government that we understand that for as long as we do not have a credit system, I would not have a house in London today if I didn't have a mortgage. So can an average Nigerian who is working access a decent mortgage and be allowed to pay over a period of 25 years. So maybe he will be able to address that. So, but I've always believed that our biggest problem is the lack of credit. In America, if you have your records, I'm sure within a few hours, you can get a credit card. And if you service it well, in fact, they'll be begging you with credit cards. Now, at my age, I'll be 63 in May, and with my status in society, I cannot walk into a bank and take out 750,000 naira loan today, which is just $1,000. Wow. So you can imagine what the younger ones would suffer. If with all the business that I've done globally, I cannot just walk into a bank and get 1,000. My banks in London would even send me
Request.
emails and say, come and take this. American Express will send you, but you can't do that. Even my card in Nigeria, in which I loaded my own money, sometimes will fail you. So, but don't despair. That is my message. That's why we're here. Yeah. Because if we did it, we didn't have two heads. If we did it, then you can do it. What it takes is that you have to double up. People think it's very easy. You see Dangote, you think it's easy. You see Otedola, you see a Makadenuga. If he tells you his story, it started from driving taxis in America. In fact, I was telling you the story yesterday. I said it started from, because it was asking me how did you not make it that big? And I said, Adenuga, people don't know. He could have stayed back in Nigeria. His mom was doing well, the mother was a businesswoman in Ibadan and all that. But he went to America. He was schooling and he was driving taxi. And he made sure he was saving his money, and he would take the money, buy wines, buy tomato paper to come and sell in Nigeria. So number one, when you come here, you have to set a target that I don't want to spend more than 3 years in this country. Your friends are going to call you because they think you are picking money from the floor. Yeah. They are going to phone you every day. So you will have to find a way. I'm not saying don't help your people, but trust, help yourself first. But Babela had a favorite quote. He said, the Bible did not say love your neighbor more than yourself. It says love your neighbor as yourself. So as you are loving your neighbor, you must love yourself. So you have a definite target. And so you must make that money in good time, so that otherwise you will grow old in this system and you will be doing the same job. You will be standing at the same bus stop in the next 50 years until you can no longer walk. So you must have, we call it deadline in journalism. You must have a deadline that this is what I want to achieve in year 1, in year 2, year 3, and then I can go back home. That for me is very clear. What was the other thing?
Yeah, the second one was, what platform do you have?
For the young ones. Yeah. Oh, if I start that, I'll be sounding extremely modest. I'm telling you, it will be like praising myself. I can tell you that I've lost count of the people I've had. Education is my priority, because without education, I'll be nowhere today. Education, I've helped so many young people grow in education, go to school, pay school fees, and things like that. So it's not formal, so you might not know, because I didn't set up a Dele Momodu scholarship scheme. Where I come from, you are supposed to help people quietly. Yeah, so it's not about taking. Sometimes I tell people, I said, if Bill Gates donates $100,000 to malaria projects in Africa, it's going to be on CNN. A Makadenuga is making people every day, gives them hundreds of thousands of dollars without anybody knowing about it, creating new billionaires. You will not see it on CNN. Whereas a man who donates 50,000 to one hospital in Africa, he says he wants to eradicate polio, he wants to eradicate, malaria. So our style is different in Africa. And I can tell you, even during the COVID, I was busy distributing palliatives to hundreds of Nigerians. And there were people who from little money, as little as 5,000 naira, you will not believe it. There was a young man in Taraba State. I donated 5,000 naira. He started a kerosene business, started selling kerosene. And he wrote back to tell me that he's now a merchant and he's able to employ people. So people can give you 100,000 naira and you do nothing with it. I've also been involved in an entrepreneurial series on television, whereby we will bring in people, they teach, they bring their business proposals, and then some people's lives will change with only 50,000, some 100,000. There was a lady called Bosse. I never met her before. She wrote to me that she said, Big Daddy, I want you to change my life. Then I responded, I said, baby, how can I change your life? I've not changed my own. And then she said, no, I just need 5,000 naira to start like a business. And I approved 10,000 naira. And within 6 months, she wrote back to say, Daddy, you have changed my life. I'm worth over 50,000. There are stories like that everywhere. The problem is that a lot of people believe that because I am a graduate, there are some jobs that are beneath me. It is this idea of if you are a graduate, but we're ready to do it abroad. We're not ready to do it in Nigeria. Trust me, Nigeria with a population of about 200 million people, there is so much you can sell. If you package your plantain chips better than the next person, you'll be amazed at what can happen. So in my own case, every day I'm helping people at home and abroad, not just in Nigeria. And I'm very happy. I was telling him yesterday, I said, I get blessed anytime I help. Every single day of my life, I'm going to look for someone. I've done one already today, and I'm going to do one before I sleep tonight. There are people I see that are in need, and trust me, the little you give them, sometimes people come to work, they are not even sure how they will go back home. And that little money you give is what is going well. So we're doing a lot. Don't forget that I've never been in government, so I don't have access to free funds. So I'm only able to spend the little profit and my own income. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
My little addition to the issue of JAPA for young people or getting loan, if you do not love selling, don't do business, right? Oftentimes today, I see young people write me and in their mind I'm from a rich home or, and the truth is there's nothing that I own today that did not start from selling, right? Real estate, I didn't have enough money to start development. So I started selling for other real estate companies. And there's a scripture in the Bible that says, if you are not faithful in that which is another man's, who will give you? Right. So I started by selling for other people. And from the commission, the exposure, we started our development. Today we're one of the largest in Nigeria when it comes to land banking, right? And we're growing to build the largest real estate company in green and smart home. But it wasn't that somebody gave me capital or have big money. Today now I hear, even him was telling me he reads people writing and say, oh, he's fronting for somebody or, he's come to Dubai now. Very soon people start saying, maybe I'm fronting for him. But what most people don't know is that there's no big man you see me with that I've ever demanded a cover from. In fact, the little I have, I package a gift and I give them. There's not one. But the secret for me has been selling. So the same thing for you. There's so much Dubai does. You can trade in gold, right? I'm not saying it's easy to get people to do business with you, but the ruggedity of it, the doggedity of it will help. So you can start selling from Nigeria. Now that you're in Dubai as well, you can start selling. I've seen a lot of people in Dubai who are from Africa who will rather wash toilets than build the courage to go into sales, where the commission you make in one transaction can pay your salary for 5 years. Yeah. Right? So for me, that would be my advice. So instead of waiting for capital for business, go and be the middleman for that same business, right? Meet the seller, tell him you go and look for a buyer for him, and let him give you a commission for doing that. Yeah, and that's it.
Let me quickly add to that.
Yes.
Based on my experience with Ovation magazine, we sell the most expensive magazine in Africa at 2,000 naira cover price. And you won't believe it. To encourage our young ones, we pay a commission of 50%. And I tell a lot of graduates who tell me they don't have jobs. I said, if you pick 5 copies of Ovation daily,
Yeah.
and you make 1,000 naira daily,
Yeah.
let's say you work Monday to Friday and your Saturday and Sundays are free. It means every day you make 5,000.
Yeah, that's
And
100,000.
times 5 in a week,
Yeah.
in 25, that's 100,000. Even if you work, how much is your salary? The minimum wage in Nigeria, we're still struggling at 18. No, we're struggling even to pay 18,000. And here you are, you have a magazine that can fetch you, and you will not believe it. We've advertised. People say I'm a graduate, I cannot be seen on the street selling magazine. I've sold Ovation on my head before.
Yeah.
In London, I carried it. I've sold ice cream on my head in Ede. Yes, the NYC camp in Ede, we set up a business, myself and a few partners. We were selling chicken and chips, we were selling ice cream, we were showing movies, and you will not believe it. The day we resumed the business, rain fell, dogs and cats. So our deep freezer packed up, and so as not to lose the ice cream, I had to carry it on my head. Big day, and sell it. We lost all our potato chips. We lost everything. The day we had the best movie, the reel cut into 2. And those who had bought the ticket started asking for refund. I've gone through it all.
Yeah.
I will never be ashamed of my job or any business I do. The biggest problem, trust me, that we have is that we have a lot of people in Nigeria today who, even if you give them a job, they will not take it. Yeah. They will not take it. That's what this thing was wrong. You know, so I'm appealing to those who are watching me. If you don't have money, my mother will tell me, you cannot do akko. What do we call akko? You cannot buga. You cannot say you are a big man.
Right.
Say if you are a lightweight, don't pretend to be a heavyweight. You need a job, you need money, please go for it. Do whatever you can do as long as we are not stealing and you are not committing crime. Thank you.
Yes.
I'm delighted to be here. My name is Juliet. Thank you for this opportunity. Most of my question has been answered. It's all about unemployment in Nigeria and youths running out of the country. They feel if you travel abroad, because that is my own mentality. I've tried several in Nigeria. I feel okay if I travel abroad, I can raise funds, then come back to the country to probably establish a business. When I graduated in 2011, I studied plant science and biotechnology. I tried my best. I couldn't get a job. I went ahead. I did professional HSC. I did project management. Even with that, I couldn't get a job. So I learned makeup. I went into cosmetology. I started treating people's skin, painting their faces and all that. And I was able to earn a living from there. I had a shop. I had things, going well for me. But I still had this mentality that I need big money because my dream is agro business, like agro-allied business, because I studied plant science and biotechnology, and I want to go into food processing, manufacturing and all these things. But I don't have enough money. I applied for grants. I went to bank as well, like you said, but it was all to no avail. So I have this mentality that I need to travel abroad. Then probably maybe because of the value of their own money, I can earn, save, then go back to my country to start up a business. So I just want to ask, what can be done in Nigeria, so that our youth will know, because all of my, 90% of my friends, my mates, my junior, my senior are abroad now. So everybody's running away. What can be done in Nigeria that the youth, or if everybody runs away from the country, what is going to become of that country? So like me, I want to go back home. I'm in Dubai now, this is the 11th month, and I want to go back home. Like I'm planning to go back, I'm tired. This is not what I planned for myself. I see myself doing more. So like what can be done if we will need to go back to our country and make a name, you know, let people know that Nigerians, it's not all about bad, it can be good too in the country. So what can be done about unemployment and what can our youth do to probably invest in their share? Because I have tried and it's just not working.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Let me be as frank as possible. Let me be very frank. If I had a solution to it, I'm sure I won't be sitting down here. I will be probably home welcoming everybody. Unfortunately, there is a Yoruba, so there is a Yoruba saying, Abikuso Ologun Deke. Let me try and translate that. Abiku is a spirit child. Is a spirit child that when you give birth to that baby, it dies before long. So when you get pregnant again, the same baby comes back. We believe it's the same baby that comes back. It will die again. And then all the, what do you call juju men? Do you? Herbalist. No, a juju man is not an herbalist. The native doctors are supposed to have the capacity to stop such misfortune. But unfortunately, the Abiku renders all their powers useless. That is what has happened in Nigeria. We are very powerless about this issue of unemployment. And what saddens me is that a lot of our young people are now forced to perish. On my way out of Lagos last Sunday, a young friend of mine called me frantically and said, "Oh, my brother has just been arrested in Ghana." And I said, "What happened?" She said, the brother never told them that he was going anywhere, he just disappeared. A 21, 22-year-old guy. Someone lied to him that if he gets to Ghana, they are going to do some papers for him, and they took his money. So he ended up in prison. And fortunately, I was on my way to Ghana when I got the call, because I had to take my flight from Ghana to Dubai. So when I got to Ghana, I called a few friends in government, and they told me that if it's a national security issue, we should not even get involved, that we should leave it, because Ghana is very serious about it. They don't want people using their soil to say they are traveling abroad. A lot of these young people don't know. The sister, by the time she called me, had spent about 1.8 million naira trying to bail him out, and didn't succeed. And what I'm saying is that if you invest 250,000 of that 1.8 million in Nigeria, you'll be a big man.
Yeah.
If you come to him and say, "No, please, so I don't have a lot of money, but I have this 1.5 million, I have this 2 million naira," you'll be surprised at what it can do. So, and I must give a final example. I say it every day because it broke my heart. My own tailor, who makes most of my dresses in Nigeria, walked up to me, we call it Alaji, said, "I'm going abroad." And I got angry. I said, "What are you going to do abroad?" He said, "No, I'm tired of Nigeria." I said, "But you are making money. I even pay you more for what you do for me than what I'm supposed to pay." He said he would be sewing for us in London. To cut a long story short, I told him, "Don't come to me again because you have no ambition in life. If you are doing well in Nigeria and you want to go abroad." This guy, for over a year, I didn't see him. Then he came back one day. He said he wanted to see me. By then, I was very calm. So I said, "So yes, I hope you have perished this idea of going abroad." He said, "No, sir. I came to rejoice with you that I just got a South African visa." You won't believe it. I said, "So you think Black South Africans have jobs?" I go to South Africa all the time. I said, They are suffering more than you. If you go to Alexandria in Joburg, you'll be amazed at the level of poverty. So he said no, he said he must go. So he left. One day I saw a South African number calling me. And when I picked it, it was Alaji. I said, Alaji. So what's happening? He started crying. He said the man who took him to South Africa said he was going to serve him. It's slavery. Serve him for 2 years. But when he got there, the man answered it's 5 years. That I should please help him to get where he will be staying in South Africa. I said, I'm not in South Africa. I don't have anybody who can give you a house in South Africa. He was begging me. I said, well, I told you don't travel. You refuse. So come back home. He said, he's ashamed. He can't come back home. To cut a long story short, the next thing I had, they had shot this guy dead. Hey! He died. His corpse never returned to Nigeria. And so many people like that. I'm saying this so that those who are watching also hopefully, as we're speaking now, I'm sure tonight there are people trying to cross through the desert, through the Mediterranean, through the Atlantic Ocean. People will tell them, don't worry, we will put you inside phones, mattresses, and you will swim across. Yeah, people do crazy things to get out. Our government, we should appeal to. Unfortunately, I don't know. Since I'm not in government, I don't know. But they should try and try and try. Because the solution, I don't like to just criticize without providing solution. The solution is for us to emphasize vocational studies.
Very true.
If you go to a university, you said you learned plant science, for example. That plant science, maybe if you learned, let me say, I'm just using the food technology, and you start your own bakery, it's not going to cost you too much money to start a bakery. I know young people in Nigeria who are just baking cakes and they are doing extremely well. Even this beauty thing, of course, everybody will not be big immediately.
Yes.
But starting from somewhere, if you calculate, let me tell you, before you left Nigeria, maybe there were 20 parties every week in Lagos. Today, I'm sure there are over 200. Ovation, I mean, we're involved almost every day. There's a wedding. Nigeria is the only country, that's why we are called the happiest people on earth. Nigeria is the only place where every single day something is going on. So all you need to do is to plug yourself into that business. Plus, the makeup is big business in Nigeria today, big. But if you have left, a lot of your clients have moved on to some other people. It means that by the time you go back, now you have to start again. But better late than never.
Yes.
I pray that God will help you. And what you need the most is not the money now, it's the courage.
Yes, I have the courage. It's just that I want to gain my ground online because I know that in business in Nigeria now, you need to be ground online.
So
let me add
to that.
They will not patronize you. What's your Instagram page? If they can't find you,
Madam, I offer you my Instagram page free of charge.
Thank you very much, sir.
When you're ready, tell me. I give you my Instagram, my Facebook free of charge.
Thank you.
That will be my contribution.
Also on the 14th of April, we're doing a free training here.
Okay.
On about 7 business opportunities you can do, from e-commerce to digital marketing. So how do you even grow your Instagram? There are strategies to this things, right? And on different businesses, we go into that. I used to teach about 20 businesses. I have a book on that because I didn't start with real estate. I started by selling buckets and then helping with digital marketing, e-commerce and logistics and so on. So you can start small. But the last thing, just like Chief has said, consistency is critical. And for me, it's 15 years on the same business. Today I have money, today I don't have money. The day I will have to use my children's school fees to pay salary, the day rent is due, I have kept at it. The problem with many, you have one small issue, you quit, right? You come back, you see me that was consistent, and you say, we don't know behind the scene, don't know. Continue to we don't know. The secret is that we are consistent. If you Google Stephen Akintayo, you see what I was doing 10 years ago. The pictures are there. 15 years ago, I sold popcorn, I've hawked electronics, I've sold books, and the pictures are there. Mine is not even secret. So consistency, you get there. Okay? Because of time, let's keep our questions short, and I hope
I'll try
Chief will
to
keep
be
his
very
own
short.
answers short too.
Okay, once again, my name is Nicola, and my question is.
What do you do?
Okay, thank you. I'm a business development manager, and at the same time, I work in an NGO, also as a business development manager.
In Dubai, yeah?
Yeah, in Dubai, as involving women in politics. I don't know if you know, but like
Involving
women in progress and community development in Dubai, but involving women in politics in Nigeria. So I'm actually the UAE coordinator. But just like what I've heard how our father said about business and mentors, something has been bothering me about Nigeria. But normally, I don't like to talk about Nigeria. On a good day, I will not talk about Nigeria. But this is it. I think so many things are wrong. And there's a project I'm actually working on, which is about our mindset, about orientation. From the beginning, I always tell people, I said from 1960, the orientation has been wrong. An average Nigeria of today does not know, even the understanding, does not know what our constitution states. And all these things, it starts from there. You cannot say you want to rule okay, let me just question. My question now is, how do you think you can influence our society with orientation?
Okay.
Because it is, I believe it's something that we all need. Okay. Our orientation is wrong. Then my second question is that, do you have a mentor, or what does it mean to have a mentor in your case?
Okay, no problem. Orientation, again, I'm going to be very frank. I'm almost reaching my retirement. In fact, at 60, ideally, I should have retired. I'm going to be 63 very soon. So what I'm trying to do is not about orientation any longer. I've been doing that all my life. It is to consolidate what I have myself. I've built a library resort in Ibadan. Because Ibadan used to be my London when I was young. I used to come from Ife to Cocoa House, the tallest building in West Africa and all that. So I chose Ibadan for my library project because I discovered what do I love, reading and writing. So when it is ready, in the next few weeks or months, I'll be able to gather fellow scholars, young people who want to be mentored, who will pick them at random, come in for a weekend, then, because that ties into your idea of mentorship. I had mentors. I would not be where I am today if I did not have people to mentor me. But it was not as if they mentored me formally. I was their disciple. So when people wait and think your mentor is going to provide you money, that's not mentorship. Mentorship is you look at the lifestyle of KBAC, you like his lifestyle and you study it. It's very easy today for me to mentor you without even meeting me because everything is available. Everything about Dele Momodu, go on YouTube. If you have just type Dele Momodu. If you go to the enchanting world of Dele Momodu on YouTube, you'll be amazed at the mine of information that you will discover. So it is not about your mentor giving you money or giving you direct lecture. It's about you being a follower, being a disciple. You must be a disciple. Pick someone you want to follow, and every other thing shall be added onto it. Thank you.
Sorry, one more. Because the reason I mentioned mindsets and this, I remember when I was taught, I told some people I'll be coming here. Would you like to come with me? You know, that's an example. I said, who is the host? I said, Stephen. I don't mind him. He has what he's doing. I said, I knew the mindset of that person is quite wrong.
It's okay. That you can't
That's a personal
avoid that. Yeah, you can't
Because
avoid it.
Someone just type it on Chief's Instagram now that the mindset is a personal decision. And the person is right. It's a personal decision. Right? There's nothing you can do about it. And people are free to have their mindset. Some people, and unfortunately, many young people in Nigeria believe anybody who is wealthy
Is the cause of his own failure.
cause of their own misfortune. And it's their own choice and it's a mindset, and there's nothing you can do.
Don't worry.
You know,
People are going to abuse you. If they don't abuse you, you're not important.
you have your own mindset, and when the results start showing. When I started buying books, I used to go for training. My mates used to tell me on campus and say, these people are just extorting you. Eh? Okay, you've paid them money now. Yeah, has your life changed? How much money have you made now? Right? 15 years down the line, is the gap not different between me and them? Many of them are still struggling. They still don't have a job. Some people will graduated together. Right? But I chose a different mindset, and that mindset has changed my life. Even today now, I tell people, if you have an idea of how much, I took a business class ticket and I went to the US to meet Grant Cardone. Because I saw a man who grew his real estate business from zero. Now has $5 billion worth of real estate assets. Right? Paid 2,000 plus just for one lecture. I even thought he would come. He wasn't even in the class. Right? Paid another money for my staff and I for him to coach us on selling real estate and property. And so tomorrow, you say I'm lucky. How? Right? How? A man is richer than I do, yet I paid him to learn from him. Someone who is way richer. Right? You are sitting there complaining, wishing everything will be given to you on a platter of gold. So everybody is responsible for their mindset. I wish you can go, but time, let's take it.
Yeah, time is short.
Yes.
I have so many thoughts in my mind,
Yeah.
which I hope we could have had an extended session.
Yeah.
But it's okay if I stand here and
Yes, tomorrow we have a dinner at Enish the Palm. So we can all meet and we can have a longer session.
But it's been brilliant. Let me not flatter you unduly, sir. I will refer to you as sir. And yourself too, sir.
Yeah.
I think the young people in this room, you should consider it as a privilege.
Yes.
And
It's a great
all-
privilege.
many golden nuggets here. But now let me speak. I'm sure the majority of the room is Nigerian. So let me tell you why I said my DNA is Nigerian. So you touched on so many points here. You made so many points. I know we are short on time and I'm getting old. So if I don't mention it today, but you touched on so many things. Look at your humble beginnings. That in itself is motivation. Because it's very easy to fail. It's not easy to succeed. We always look for excuses. And there's no such thing as failure. I am a mentor. I'm a mentor and I do it not for money. Many people have said to me, you can train, you can educate with what I do. I do it from here. I could go on and on for 10 minutes, but I will end with one. I could say so much more, sir. But let me ask you if it's a question, more a statement than a question, whether you believe it or not. When I meet people, if I'm in a supermarket, I'll see somebody, I'll say, that's a Nigerian. My wife will say, how do you know? I say, he's a Nigerian. So when I go up there, I say, I don't ask, I make a statement. I say, you're from Nigeria. Who is this guy? Some of them will be, some of them will be alarmed, but then, within minutes, we are like brothers or whoever it is, because they know my roots. My DNA is Nigerian. Just one small story, sir. This generation should consider themselves lucky. Correct me if I'm wrong. In our time, you made business bricks and mortar, physical selling, and with the advent of online, you have boundless opportunities. Secondly, you must find a mentor, whichever business you, and you've defined that, you touched on it a little bit. You must have a mentor, and a mentor is not somebody you're just paying, you're emulating, you're trying to get the success, you get that motivation. Now, I did something very small in my own way in Nigeria and Ibadan. In fact, I addressed more than 200 students because Nigeria, I know, I'm a silent ambassador for Nigeria. Walk the talk. I don't say this because I want somebody. I am. And when some people say, I say I'm from Nigeria, they say, I don't believe you. And when COVID came, what was my life? Should I remove my mask? I would say, should I remove my mask? Because I'm Nigerian. I went to primary school there. I went to secondary school there. So I'm Nigerian. Now I address some people in Ibadan because this youth, the talent and brains we have in Nigeria surpasses or it is at par with anywhere in the world. Agreed or not? But there's no conducive environment. So when I started trading and online trading, which you can start with $100 account, you're learning a skill. You're learning something where you're not limited. So I said to all of them, I will match you one-on-one. We had about 200 people. We drew 10 or 20 names. I said, I will match you one-on-one with money. So I hold your hand throughout the process. Now, don't tell me I don't have the money. Get it from your father, your mother, your girlfriend, whoever you have. Raise this money to get started. So my one statement or question, if I can say, and also, Doctor, it will be amazing if you can share the recording of this because there are golden nuggets in this. Today it's been a short session, but there are golden nuggets. Thank you so much. It's an honor and a privilege to be in your presence.
Thank you, sir.
And I will cherish this.
We hope we can have you on the April 14th to share with the audience.
I would love
to. We would love to learn about.
I would love to. I would love to, sir. My question, and please don't, I speak as a Nigerian, don't get me wrong. I'm living in Dubai 17 years. As you said, what was Dubai and what is it today? Where there's a will, there's a way. But more important than that, sir, Dubai is what it is because it has branded itself. No, let me tell you why I say this. I meet some people and they are almost shy to say they are Nigerians. They'll adopt another identity. I see it so much and I confront them head on. Now, if you don't change that, it shows that even when they come out to Dubai, they have to defeat the system, not the system defeats them. They feel that if they go and say, I'm from Nigeria, 419, they content with that. You have to say, I'm from Nigeria. I'm as smart as the next guy you're going to interview.
Exactly.
Yes or no? Yes. So I think Nigeria, whoever is in, Nigeria is called the powerhouse of Africa. 200 million people. But can I call a spade a spade? You permit me to speak as a son of the soil. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Nigeria is not only static, it is regressing. When I say look at the power situation, I was there just after the Biafra war. This is before many of everybody knows Biafra. And when you mentioned Chief Ganifa, it brought back. I've had the pleasure of sitting with him also. When you mentioned him, it brought back memories. I've had the pleasure of shaking Chief MQ Abiola, who should have been president. Chief Adedoyi was our neighbor. He's another guy. I'm sure you know his antecedents.
Very well.
Rags to riches. And you look at him, look at this man here. You know what he went through? And we are sitting in the presence of a man who has gone through the same thing. So who better to mentor, to emulate than him? We can all sit back, if only I had this, if only I had this, if only I could do that guy, lucky, Nothing to do with that. Mindset. Here's another testament. I must confess, I know very little about you, but you painted a good picture already. So you have two amazing people in this room. They've shared nuggets with us. I think we should make this, if you can, copyright, whatever. At least extend it to the people.
It's already on social media. In fact, we have over 500 people watching us across all platforms.
Okay, can I greet them?
Yes, please greet.
All right, so
we didn't even take questions from there,
My statement, sir. My statement rather is, if Nigeria brands itself better, when I was even living there, people used to say Nigeria can be better than South Africa.
By far.
So why isn't it happening? And the youth, they should be addressing this too. changing the image of Nigeria. If you come to Dubai and you want to get a job, don't be shy to say I'm from Nigeria. Be proud to say I'm Nigerian. Right or wrong? So may I shake your hand and put it on record? I will not wash my hand for 3 years.
Great man. And honestly, I'd love to host you. We probably will have.
If you have tomorrow, join us.
It's an honor. It's my pleasure. And I hope I didn't offend anybody. Can we just have one raise? How many Nigerians are in the room? How many? Is it the majority are
Nigerians.
Even the ones who are not Nigerians are now Nigerians. Because the non-Nigerians work for me, and I'm a Nigerian too, so are you not Nigerian?
Anyway, it was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't extend the time.
Oh, no, it's fine. Thank you.
Just briefly, I don't know, I want to address it to you, if possible, I don't mind if there can be an empowerment program where I can train people what I know for free.
Thank you.
This hall can take up to 80 to 100 people. So if you have programs like that, we're willing to take. And one of the things I stand for is I'm a Nigerian, and if all of you see me here in Dubai, I dress Nigerian. Yeah. I have a TikTok video that has 10.8 million views, and a lot of people were happy also that a Nigerian could live here in Dubai. In fact, most of the guys who work in Burj Khalifa, because I live in Burj Khalifa, when my guests come, they always tell me that when they say I'm here to see Dr. Stephen, the excitement that one of us live here as well. Right? And I think that's what we stand for. If we begin to become role models and people can point at and say, the worthy ambassador. I remember when I moved to Burj, it was the week they banned Nigerians. So some Nigerians came to visit me. And before you know, I got a letter from Burj Khalifa that, I'm probably doing something business in my apartment. And I had to write them a 3-page letter to introduce myself. And that was the last time I ever got such. And I think it speaks to what he's saying. Be bold, be confident, be able to stand your ground. And as long as you're not doing anything criminal, right? Be able to, this is who I am. I'm proud of it. I'm not just an ordinary Nigerian. I'm a Nigerian that is adding value to the economy. I've shared this many times during COVID. I just came from London. London had approved not using masks. So I hadn't started living here. I was in St. Regis Hotel. So I was going to the mall because it's linked to the mall. And a guy just approached me. Why you know Max? I'm a CID, and he was quite rude. I started to say to him, I said, look, I've invested my money in this country. You cannot talk to me that way. He almost entered the ground. He goes up. Because Africans don't talk back like that. But I'm not, you're not doing me a favor. I've invested millions of dollars here. So you can't just talk to me. And that's how we need to start seeing ourselves. As people are adding value to the country, anywhere in the world. And as we have that mindset, the future is for Nigerians. Please help me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Celebrate it, sir.
You introduce him to me, so I think he deserves to be introduced to the rest of us.
So,
please, sir, if you don't
there are two people.
Take a bow.
There are two of them.
Okay.
So please.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
good evening, everyone. My name is Timothy. I am
Good evening.
the founder of Jamia, which is an online market trading place here. I do a lot of other things as well as mentoring. And one thing I want to say about mentoring, I'd like to tell you all here. Mentoring is not about your mentor sometimes should not be older than you. Sometimes I go to my kids, my youngest 12-year-old. How do you play these roadblocks, your metaverse? He is the one teaching me. So don't Don't
Nina,
always
come in,
let
Nina,
us get
come
it
in.
the other way around.
Because
So
Tim
you're
is
meant
not perfect without his wife. Nina, come.
So-
Please, we have your seat here. You can sit with your husband.
So very quickly, another thing I would like to say is money is not always the key. Your information, your knowledge, your data is the most important thing that you can ever have. You can move from location to location. You can lose money, but you can't lose knowledge because once you have it, it is in you. And wherever you go, you can retool it and you reuse it again. So most of the most important thing, when we're having our conversations, I said, I would rather any day to get data from someone than to get money. Because you can have 300 million to start a business today and right the next day to all crash, even if it's well spent. But if you have the knowledge that tells you that the stock market is going to crash tomorrow, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Even if you didn't have the money, you can go and borrow money and buy whatever stock that needs to be bought because you now have the data. So, and the final thing I will say, you did say something about the mindsets. And they did say something about it's a lot easier now. But if you ask a child that is growing up now how to cook, all he thinks of is his microwave. But back in the day, they were using gas. But the guys that came before you guys were using firewood. So everyone always there's always the stage, innovation stages that is always changing. Back then, they used to go door to door, knocking with books and paper. Now we just do a post and it goes live. And it goes. So the new generation these days, they are wondering, why haven't I blown? Because I've just done one simple thing. But what they don't understand is that it might take one video for you to blow. But the actual fact is that that person has been training their skills for a very long time. That the day it opens up, it opens up. So what I will really say is always try and find out what your inner talent is. Always try, and if everything around you is breaking down, concentrate on your inner self. Go and do that thing that makes you happy. No matter how much you're drowning around you and all the mad noise is happening, go and retool yourself. And the more you do that, the day you do something, everyone will say, how did they do that just now? And you're like, and that's how most of these guys make it. So that's one thing I would just like to say, guys.
Thank you.
Tim and Nina are the founders of All African Festival. Nina, let's see your face. Are the founders of All African Festival. They made us proud. Here in UAE, and what they do is just amazing. And they're some of the brightest human beings I've ever met. Creative, their brain is.
I was honored to meet him earlier today, and that's why.
We also have in our midst Habila Malgui. It's my brother from Maiduguri.
Oh, how are you?
So I'd like him to come share a few thoughts with us. He was here training a couple of weeks ago. Please come share with us.
Well, Chief, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Thank
But
you.
I mean, I think everyone knows me, so probably most people here. But my name is Abdullah, and I'm the chairman of Sport Energy and Oil and Gas Servicing Company as well, so Concordia Consult. And we help individuals in gaining second citizenship by investment. I work with about 15 governments across the globe, around the world, creating FDIs as well as helping high and ultra high net worth individuals in second citizenship. So that's just it. I mean, we've all said amazing stuff. So I'm not going to say anything further than what everyone has said. But it's a pleasure having you with us. Dr. C, thank you always for making this possible. And it's a pleasure. Oh yes, absolutely. Feel free to come by our office tomorrow. We'll be happy to have you for either coffee or lunch or whichever one you're free for.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
So once again, thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate you. But of course, tonight will not have happened without a special guest of honor, Aare Dele Momodu. Right?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming. And then tomorrow by 7 p.m., we're having dinner at English restaurant Palms. It's free, but you have to pay for your meal, of course. We have coffee and snacks for you at the back. Chief is still here to take pictures with you, but we can take a group one. But we'll start with some of our special guests first, and then all of us join. So let's have, you can join us, Sam. Tim and Nina, Abila, come.
Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Please, we have promoted you as a special Nigerian student. Nice. Thank you. Thank you. Can somebody call Nina and Abila? Nina, we're taking pictures.
Oh, Lord.
Thank you.
The rest of us, let's all join. No, let's wait till they jump down.
Okay, let's find a way to. Same here. Same here. Nice to meet you.
Let's go and end the recording and then join us.
Oh my God, I'm bleeding.
If you want to scotch, you can scotch and.
Okay, let's move there so you can. He's our very special host. So.
No more, you're too tall, Ola. The other is taking now.
Okay.
Okay, let's have Antonia. Manager join. Shane, join us.
Shane. All the pictures with millionaires.
Shane, join us. Shane is our office assistant. Yes.
We're blocking our Zoom chat. There. Okay. Your flash is not working. Right. Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Yes. Thank you.
Put up one more.
So can you do like a short video and we'll share GTS?
Camera rolling on. Action.
Thank you. Oh, actually, thank you.
Please, we have some refreshment at the back. Please, join us. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm just not.